Hey guys, it's Brian. Behind me is my 2020 garden. We've got close to 200 tomato plants this year, about 250 pepper plants. There's pumpkins, corn, kale, green beans, strawberries popping up all over the garden. I'm gonna show you guys around, show you some tools I use to keep only the plants I want growing in the garden, keep the fungus away, and keep the insects away. One thing I wanna address real quick before we get started on each plant that's planted in the garden, and we're not gonna go over all of them, is look at how the garden looks. You see how straight those rows are? And do you see how straight they are right here? These plants, these are pepper plants. They're 4 feet apart, left to right, up and down. And the same all the way to the tomato plants. And then they start to spread out more when we get to the vine type plants like our cucumbers and squash and pumpkins over here that are just now popping up are 8 feet apart. They need room to grow. Spacing your plants out like this makes it very easy to keep weeds at a minimum and maintain weed control. 2 passes with the tiller, one going up, one coming down with my Troy-Bilt Super Bronco over there. I got for 250 bucks off of Facebook Marketplace. Makes it really easy to go up and down this way and then come up and down this way. And that keeps all the weeds away, and the only spot I have to maintain is right next to the plant. Just a quick garden tour. Strawberries are on the very end. We have just about every type of pepper plant you can imagine, from Carolina Reaper, ghost pepper, habanero, jalapeno, cayenne, garden salsa, all types, shapes, and colors of sweet pepper plants, banana peppers, hot peppers. It's all in here. Some of these pepper plants will produce over 100 peppers on their own. And then we get to our tomato plants. I like big beefy tomatoes. I like big beefsteak, nice, fat, juicy, great for a BLT type of tomatoes. And that's the majority of these are. And those are the ones that do best at the farmer's auction. I also want to address this wide space going through the center of the garden. This 8-foot gap right here. There's no viney plants planted next to the edge of this 8-foot wide road. This road is an access road, so I can drive the 4-wheeler with a trailer attached to it on it, so I can come through here in the center of the garden and collect the harvest without having to drive just around the outsides of the garden. I can come right through the middle, and that gives me several access points to where I'm not carrying heavy buckets of tomatoes, peppers, squash, pumpkins, you name it. It's easy access to get right through the center of the garden. All right, so we have a few different things here. We have our fertilizer that keeps our plants well fed and growing. We've got the 7 right here, which is an insect killer. It comes in a dust or concentrate liquid that you can mix up in a sprayer, and we've got fungicide that you also mix up in a sprayer. Make sure when you buy a fungicide that you're not buying stuff like for my wife's rose plants that says disease control for roses, flowers, and shrubs. You do not want to put that on anything intended for food. Make sure you're getting the correct fungicide and insecticide. There's a lot of stuff that's just for shrubs. You want something that is for gardens. Like this right here says on flowers, vegetables, shrubs, fruit, and shade trees. Vegetables, foods. Safe to use this one. And you'll see it makes up to 64 gallons, which is going to be more than enough to do my whole 1-acre garden a couple of times. All right, now we'll start with the Miracle-Gro. This is our fertilizer. This is what's feeding our food. It's our plant food. It says feed every 7 to 14 days. Now, how much do you use? The instructions are on the back. For indoor plants, mix 1 teaspoon with a gallon of water and do it every 2 weeks. For outdoor plants, you mix 1.5 tablespoons with 1.5 gallons of water in a watering can, and you want to do this every 7 to 14 days. So we got outdoor plants. This is kind of cool. It comes in these little blue sleeves. You just rip the top open. You measure it out. It comes with its own little measuring cup that I might have taken out. Let's see what's in there. Nope, it's still in there. And on the one side, you got your indoor. On the other side, you got your outdoor. And it shows you that this is 1.5 tablespoons, already measured out. And this is a half a teaspoon on this side. All right, we already did that this morning though. When you mix this up and you put it into your sprayer, you want to spray the root of the plant, the bottom of the plant, the bottom stem where it goes into the ground and starts to root. You want to spray that part. These plants, I don't water them at all. Not once, not all year. They're not going to get any water from me. They'll get all their water from the sky. And not watering your plants is going to do a few things for you. You're not going to have to walk around in mud all the time because you've just got done watering it. You don't have to worry about damaging your plants with the watering hose. You don't have to worry about disease and funguses as much, because if there's less water that the leaves are exposed to, they're less likely to get disease and fungus that are harbored by water. Not watering your plants is going to give you a few advantages. Number one, you don't have to walk around in mud all the time. You're going to have stronger roots because instead of putting the water on top and the plant always having that water right there on the surface, it's going to have to dig deep whenever it starts to get dry. So if you go 4, 5, 6, 7 days without water, those roots are really going to start to dig down and find a water table on their own where the soil is moist. Number two, it's gonna prevent funguses and diseases. So stuff like blight and root rot, you don't have to worry so much about those because those are things that harbor whenever it's really wet and moist on the body of the plant, or too much rain and watering for the root rot. So we don't water here. We let God do the work. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the 7 insect killer. So there's 2 types. You got the dust and the liquid. Now the liquid, it's about to rain, so I don't want to use the powder. I used the powder yesterday, wasn't supposed to rain this morning, ended up raining anyway, so now all my powder is washed away. 1 container does all of my plants, because they're so small right now, once. I can get through the whole garden once and sprinkle them in a nice thin coating of this 7 powder. I do prefer the powder when the plants are smaller, but because we're expecting rain, I'm gonna go ahead and do the liquid in the sprayer. So if you look in here, it gives you some advice on what you're doing, how often to spray to keep the bugs away. There's a certain amount of time you want to wait before you spray. And on the back, it'll say garden vegetables, corn, legumes, fruiting vegetables. Here you've got your peppers and tomatoes. This is the majority of my garden, so I need to wait at least 1 day in between applications. All right, so this is gonna be the thing we mix up first. It says 4 ounces per 1 gallon of water. Cool thing about the lid that it comes with, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it says in there that top line is 4 fluid ounces. So we're going to pour that to 4 fluid ounces twice, because we've got not 1, but 2 gallons of water in here. And it's already there. I'm not sure if you can see the water line. The water in it, it doesn't take a lot of pumps to get it going. This one's got a cool clip on either side of it where you can clip the sprayer in, just like that. And then I can put this strap over my shoulder. I'm gonna go ahead and take it. All right, so now I've got the sprayer, and when I spray, you'll see it's got the fungicide coming out. I've got it on a straight jet stream now because I was spraying the roots of my plants, but now I'm going to spread it to where it sprays out a little wider.